Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the continuing Samus Aran run through Super Metroid. Not a speed run, not a high skill run. Just a slow, methodical. If you've never seen Super Metroid before, hopefully this run is targeted more at you. But either way, enjoy it, and here we go. Before I say anything else, I want to apologize for the lousy quality of the last video recording. I'm not sure what happened, but something caused the audio to desync from the video horribly. It was running faster than the video, and I'm not sure what went wrong with it. I tried to do some things to fix it as best I could, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that it could have been worse than it was. Alrighty, last we left off, we had done a whole lot of stuff actually. We had started off in Brinstar and went ahead, gotten all the way down into the muddy area of Brinstar and Norfair. Later on went to Norfair. We picked up the power bombs and had, in addition to a bunch of other items, the super missiles, the ice beam, the spazer, charge beam, and super missiles, yeah. Again, we see the same pattern on the ceiling of these handholds over a gap that we can't cross. So it's only a matter of time before we find the item that lets us go through those. For the time being, however, we do not have that kind of access. So let's continue on with our quest. We've used the power bombs to come back to the surface. Oh, I should not have stopped halfway. That was my mistake. And we've crossed our ship, so we're back where we started. Except with a whole lot more items to show for it. Now, the sharp-minded among you will remember that there was a few different places here where I specifically could not reach before, but now I might have the ability to reach those areas. For example, there was a hallway back around the place where I found my power bombs, or my bombs originally. Or, actually, it was just up here, wasn't it? No, I think it was where I found my rockets. Yeah, where I found my first set of rockets. That was too high to jump to, but had a health pack in the ceiling. Well, that's no longer a limitation, so here I go. On account of the high jump boots. And doing this kind of thing of periodic backtracking, while not actually, I'm just going to show this off. While not necessarily the fastest approach, in fact, necessarily not the fastest approach, is a lot of fun to do because, again, you have these new exploratory tools. Like nuking this whole base here is actually a replica of what in Metroid 1 for the NES was Mother Brain's hideout. You've got her little brain container here, these broken down columns where Rinkas used to be generated, and there were just walls blocking your way. Yeah. So blowing up the spot where Mother Brain used to reside reveals that there's stuff buried underneath there. Consider it remnants of her power. But even as we're going through here, already we should be thinking ahead, and I am. Where can these power bombs get me that I couldn't go before? And to that, the easy answer is all of those places that had yellow hatches are now vulnerable. And there was a lot of yellow hatches, especially towards the bottom of Upper Norfair. There's a bunch of different spots which had those. So now those are available to me, and there is this. And I'm going to head there next to explore them through. There's also one other thing, but I'm going to go ahead and not mention it until we get there again, because that's something which I didn't figure out originally and then figured it out much later. It was kind of cool. Okay, so retracing our steps back to Brinstar, the muddy area of Brinstar, and then Lower Norfair. And that we'll just have this continuing to the left. And along the way, if we pass any of those places that had good power bomb spots, we'll stop. Remember the place where I found my charge beam and how I dropped some bombs and there were totally thingies behind them? Wow, lose some train of thought because I'm moving too quickly. There was totally a few grayed out icons that had the bomb on them. Well, now we have access to those areas. Oh my god, die. in retrospect, making my way back here to Mother Brain's old place was probably not the best move, since all I got out of it was a health pack, and look how much time it took. But that's part of why this isn't a speed run. In fact, you guys may have noticed that there's a video in slot 1 of the save on the loading screen, which has been increasing slightly time-wise between recordings. Well, let's just say that having my PS3 controller wired up to my computer and playing Super Metroid has brought on some really good memories. So I kind of sought to see for myself just how much faster I could be doing this if I was doing it as a actual speed run. I'm pleasantly surprised at how much of my ability I've retained. Currently, the run has gotten all the way to just shy of where we started this segment, actually, in, I don't remember the exact time, but it was around 20 minutes total, compared to the almost hour and a half, 2 hours that I've spent on this run. But that's because I'm taking the time to, like, walk through things and inspect them and analyze them and sniffing every dog's butt that I come across on the way. Metaphorical butts, not literal. What is a metaphorical butt, anyway? Anyway, on we go. The ice beam does more damage, but its lethal shot will always freeze the enemy. And this results in a mixed effect that if you're just going for a pure speed run, often it's irritating enough that you'll turn off the ice component of the beam so that you can just kill things per shot. And you can totally turn on and off various beams, items, etc. in the menu. Okay, so now here we are, back in Brinstar, all too familiarly. However, we now have some new toys at our disposal, which are going to make exploring more interesante. Muy interesante. For example, recall that room that we couldn't speed our way through on the right without abusing a glitch? Well, now we totally can, so let's do that. Run, 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 run. And notice that I needed the speed booster to get through it in the end. The prize, of course, is going to be something actually very cool. A reserve tank. Except that, to my mind, isn't that cool, so let's hold out and see if there ain't another surprise. Reserve tanks are effectively the same as health tanks, except you can choose to activate them early to refill 100, or they can hold that 100 in reserve for you and then automatically refill it later. So it's basically the same thing. Let's go ahead and drop one of those power bombs here, because there's definitely another power-up. So a bunch of extra missiles. I thought there was a super missile that was available here, so I'm a little bit confused why that's not here. Maybe I remembered wrong. That's certainly a possibility, but I feel as though I don't know, maybe I'm missing something that I should have remembered. Anyway, for the time being, we've got that, and that's it. Yeah. Oh! There we go. Way up. And here is where there's an extra super missile. Notice that my auto has gone into yellow now. That's because I now have maxed out my health tanks and collected energy, so I'm filling the reserve tank now. Okay, so now armed with 10 super missiles, which is a fantastically high payload, and why can't I get out? I don't know what these things need, so I'm just gonna powerbomb the whole area. Doesn't look like these were actually... oh, that was a mistake. Doesn't look like these walls are actually vulnerable to anything. So maybe I was supposed to go through the top and then work my way down somehow? Oh yeah, there we go. And just fall through. Okay, so I was bound to discover that one way or the other. Onward we go. Well armed now. Recall that this area below here was power bombable. I'm not going to be breaking into there right now, but that actually introduces you to a sub-segment which teaches you how to wall jump, I believe. When I first played this game at my uncle's house, when I was somewhere like... I don't think I was even 10 yet. It must have been 10 at least. I don't know. I was much younger than I am now. I couldn't figure out for the life of me what they were trying to teach me there, and it was the most frustrating experience. In fact, I vaguely recall that I ended up restarting the entire game and lost all my progress because I had saved while I was down there and was completely stuck. Now here, if I recall correctly, there was a power bombable segment, but I don't remember what it was for. My money is that it was just another way to get those rockets. Oh, but here is a different story, as this is not that same area, because I used the wall jump in the end to get the height I needed to get in and out of there. Okay, so now we've got that opened. Okay, it's another one of these weird rooms that requires the use of that grappling, I guess, whatever it is that interacts with that gray block. So, the weird thing about this room, though, is even if I jump that high myself, I'm not sure what I would do with the grappling that I can't do already. Okay, clearly real spikes. I don't know. Bottom line, there's an item off to the right there that I can't reach, and I am now spending a lot of time on. So let's move right along. I would at least like to get back to the area. And you know what? Hey, let's because we're being tourists, let's be touristy. If I recall correctly, yes, there was a power bomb logo here, so let's get rid of that and move on to find a rocketable door. Oh, and we've rejoined the blue segment of the map, so clearly this is an area that we will need to explore eventually. The water here prevents running, which prevents me from reaching high speeds, and I'll be much mistaken if that isn't going to mean I can't actually finish exploring the area. I can't actually jump high enough to get up here, but if I use the wall jump, I totally can. But that seems to be all I can do. Let's powerbomb this to see if there's any other tiles that are special here. Nothing that shows up as special to me. My money is that I need to build up enough... Oh wow, I have just enough space to build up super running speed. Maybe I can get this earlier, because they want me to acquire the item that lets me run in water before I can get here, but... But maybe I can go ahead and use the ability to Shine Spark to get there without it. It certainly seems like I'm halfway there. Here we go. Shine Sparking directly upwards is not going to solve this. But I don't know how to force the Shine Spark to go to the side. In Super Metroid Zero Mission, they do a better job of making this much easier to control. The only other thing I can think, because I know it's definitely possible to go upward and diagonal at the very least. There it is. Maybe if I do it while adjacent to the wall, it will effectively try to go diagonally, and then instead, nope. That time it just went straight up though. Okay, I made a little bit of progress, but there's no way I'm getting through all of this. That was not what I tried to do. Basic bombs. Yeah. So these all require speed running through the water. Speedy running, I should say, through the water. If I could just somehow make I did a pretty good job trying at that, but no. Unless there's a way to do a left to right charge jump, which I know there is in a different Metroid game, but I don't know if there is in this one. I'm pretty sure that I have to come back here later. That said, I got that extra, this extra area revealed, and that's kind of nice. And oh my god, I think it's possible to get stuck there if you use too many super bombs. At any rate, I'm out of power bombs, and I'm actually low on time too for this video segment. So let's at the very least get back into Norfair before time's up. Alrighty, come on. Oh. Yeah, these enemies used to be a lot harder. Now they're one-shottable. Well, two-shot on account of the freeze, but yeah, one-shottable. Without freeze, they would probably still take two shots. I won't have the damage. Okay, tanks are almost filled up. And now we're back at this area. So really, all of this roundabout that I did was kind of sort of unnecessary. If I had been just interested in moving forward with the direction of where I need to go next, this is all I would have had to do. Just reverse halfway through. Instead of going up and out to the surface with my newfound abilities, I could have headed straight back down with them. Okay, something tells me that I'm going to need the grapples to do this area. Yeah. I mean, I could theoretically make a bridge of frozen enemies to get across, but as it is, I'm already trying too hard by even being here. Let's just refill some of my super bombs since I'm so low. And then get out of here. Probably gonna have to reuse this just to open the way. And get my bomb refunded and go back down into the charging station. Energy back. Okay. So, where last we left off, we had, or no, I don't need to go down to this one yet. So, all of the roundabout that we've done has earned us about 200 more health, 15 more rockets, 5 more super rockets, 5 more super bombs. You know, we're doing good for ammo, at the cost of having taken more time to go around the big circle. But now there are two things we can do. Firstly, this glass tube cannot handle the strain of a direct power bomb, and if you look, the glass shatters, opening the way into the water world. Now the downside is, I have virtually no control over Samus underwater. And the gravity is so much higher in underwater that there's no point in even unlocking this yet, since I can't realistically explore it. I will, however, save my game. But again, this leaves me with one more area now. I found 2 areas thus far where my immobility in water is a hassle. One of them is probably just an item based on, you know, the fact that it's a small side room. But this area, this looks like it could be the real deal. And I will tell you that using wall jumps, bomb jumps, and clever manipulation, it is possible to move around underwater without the suit enough to accomplish some actual important objectives. But that's not what I'm trying to do, so let's move on. Lastly, I do remember that there were some yellow doors in this area. Don't remember where exactly, but I don't need to remember where exactly, I just need to look again. There he is. Let's get through here. Okay, I will take a map station, that would be helpful. Oh, wow. Remember how I said we've been in Upper Norfair? This is what I meant. Look how very much of Norfair remains completely unexplored. Obvious areas to try and focus my attention are going to be 3 squares to the left of me. There's that whole down passageway to get into. Also, just directly at the bottom of this shaft, there appears to be a passageway to try to get into. It's actually confusing me why I didn't do more of that. I think that may be the one that the door was facing the wrong direction. Also, all the way to the right, I can see multiple areas where I've been stuck in the past, but quite possibly my newfound weaponry will let me get through. So, I've got my work cut out for my exploration, for the exploration goals. Let's go ahead and save the game, and we'll delve into some of those explorables next time we pick up this run. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.